Hello, everyone. Welcome to the programming video for the week of May 20th. We are starting out this week with a named workout in our CrossFit class, Nasty Girls. And you'll see why it's pretty nasty. You got 3 rounds of air squats, some advanced gymnastic moves, and then a Olympic lift that will get the heart rate moving. So this is supposed to stay quick. This is supposed to stay intense. It will allow for us to have time in class to do a really good warm up and do some hang power clean progression. So everybody's going to get a chance to practice that hang power clean, get proficient with it, so you can stay proficient with it and quick with it through the workout. So expect some of that deep dive into the hang power clean that day. Instead of reserving that for skills acceleration, you'll actually get a chance to do it before the workout that day. And that will still give us plenty of time to do our finisher that day. So don't think of this as extra credit. Everybody's going to be expected to do this finisher. It's kind of going to help cool down those shoulders afterwards. And that will allow us with our skills acceleration time, since we're covering the hang power clean in depth in the class, to actually play with some muscle up transitions in between classes for those skills acceleration times for those that are interested in that. For CVC that day, so remember, this is Vitality Month. We're getting close to the end of it, so we're throwing in our Vitality Strength workout that day. This is the confusing one. The coaches will have to keep you outlined with this. But in the end, what you can do is you get to lift heavy with some dumbbell rack squats there. So recognize heavy squatting that day. On Tuesday, we are doing a classic Tabata format. Tabata is 8 rounds at 1 movement, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. That equals about 4 minutes of work. And then you actually usually combine that with 3 other movements to make a full 16-minute workout. What's interesting about this Tabata is that the classic Tabata is usually push-ups, air squats, sit-ups, and I'm trying to think what the other move is, maybe pull-ups there. This, we're doing a little twist on that. You're going to see a couple of strength-based moves with the ab mat sit-ups and the dead hang hold, separated by cardio moves with the burpees and the box jumps. When you approach this, you want to approach this so that you can be fairly consistent through all 8 rounds of each movement, so you don't burn all your reps out in the first couple rounds of those 20 seconds of work and then don't have anything left for the last couple rounds. So trying to stay consistent all 8 rounds with that. Trying to get 300 to 400 reps in total of these movements together. That will allow us plenty of time for extra credit, another kind of shoulder cool down and some shoulder prehab stuff. This is extra credit, but I think most people will have time to do that in class. Our skills acceleration that day, since we're not doing anything too technical in the workout, but we are doing some box jumps, we'll have a chance to play around with some box jumps. A lot of people like to practice the really high box jump, see how they can get. And some people are still trying to get the first box jump and want to find some time to get comfortable with it, and maybe don't feel comfortable trying that during a workout. So that'll be some time there to start working with your confidence with box jumps. Confidence workout for CVC on Tuesday. Little twist here. So we're lifting heavy squats on Monday in CVC. On Tuesday, we're doing air squats, so unweighted squats. So even if you lifted heavy, you can still do this movement. And I want you to kind of approach this like you would your Tabata if you were in CrossFit class, where you're pretty much would be squatting pretty quickly. You're going to do the same thing here. Those 14 squats are going to go by quickly, so you can get to those ab mat sit-ups, do those ab mat sit-ups to catch your breath real quick, and then standing back up and knocking out those squats quickly. So that's the new twist that we haven't seen in CVC before. Wednesday, we have a strength portion where we're going to work on our power snatch. So we're already going to, on Monday, review the hang power clean. We'll have time to dive a little deeper into our snatch on Wednesday. With that, depending on the class, most of the time we're going to spend in the hang power position. If you know how to pull from the floor and do the full power snatch, you'll have that opportunity. We'll reserve teaching that for the skills acceleration for most people learning how to pull from the floor if they want to do that during that skills acceleration time. The workout that day is a 14-minute AMRAP. So all that mobility and warm up that's required for the snatch will translate to this workout with these single arm overhead movements with the kettlebells. So you've got these movements you do on your right arm, shoulders to overhead means some type of kettlebell push press or push jerk at a fairly heavy weight. A waiter's walk, which means you hold that kettlebell overhead, and then overhead squats with this. So the scaling may be a little bit, so you'll do your overhead squats, single arm overhead squat there, which is a challenging movement when you make sure we got plenty of mobility and warm up for that. 200-meter run, and that's only half the round, and then you're going to do it on the left side. So in 14 minutes, it says maybe 2 to 3 rounds in here. A round, though, is pretty long because it's both sides, so you can almost think of doing double that work there for the rounds. But I want you to take a look, especially at the blue and purple options here. So the single arm overhead squat, these movements should pretty much stay unbroken. And that doesn't mean you do them all back to back to back unbroken, but you should be able to get all of your shoulders to overhead unbroken before you do your waiter's walk and not have to break those up. Same with your overhead squat position. Now that can be challenging for some people. So if you're normally working at a blue, but you are going to have trouble with that overhead squat, you may have to decrease the weight on that. The difference in 2 reps may not be enough for you to be able to proficiently perform that overhead squat. You may have to drop weight on this. So the weights may get a little bit more, may have more options for everybody. You're gonna have to pick something that's appropriate for you and maybe not just stick to the weight that's suggested on the slide here. As I already mentioned, we'll do power snatch in the skills acceleration class that day. Wednesday, our hump day hit class. This is a simple but brutal effective workout right here. 4-minute AMRAP separated by 2 minutes of rest. Each 4-minute AMRAP is a couplet. So you do 20 kettlebell swings, 10 box jumps, and keep cycling through that for those 4 minutes. You can see where you have to really pace yourself and approach these things so that you can continually move for 4 minutes. You get yourself 2 minutes of rest, and then you're going into goblet reverse lunges and burpees. Same sequence there. That's 20 reverse lunges. That's 10 on each side, so 20 total. On Thursday, we've got just a straightforward workout there. You start with a buy-in on the rower. That's a 100-calorie row for guys, 70-calorie row for ladies, and jumping off that rower and going right into the double unders or single unders. You've got quite a bit of those to do. And you got 4 rounds of them to do, so that's going to add up pretty quickly. Fortunately, you get to break up some of those efforts with the farmer's carry. It's a single arm farmer's carry, so you're going to have one heavy kettlebell in one hand, walking out 50 meters, switch hands and walk back in 50 meters and get back to those jump ropes. Should have time that day to do extra credit in class as well. With the single leg glute bridge hold, working on those glutes on our backside there, and the arch body hold even works on that backside as well. That's kind of the Superman position. Our skills acceleration will be digging into those double unders a little deeper as well. Thursday's commitment workout is pretty much a full body workout here, but what's interesting about these movements is one movement is going to affect how you feel in another movement. So when you do your forward back pedal or you do your bike, if you're in Stanton, then you got to come back in a couple movements and do wall balls. You're going to figure out how those affect each other. Same with the ring row and the dumbbell hang clean. And so you're going to learn my arms are going to be tired, my pulling muscles, my biceps and everything's going to be tired from the ring rows. I got to use my hips to make up for that and those hang cleans to make that effective and be able to stay heavy and stay at my 9 on those dumbbell hang cleans. And then when the wall balls, because your legs and arms are going to be tired from the bike or the forward back pedal, you're really going to have to open up your hips to get those balls to get the wall balls to work explosively. And then we got to cash out with the max ring support hold. That's become a popular one for people. All right, Friday, we've got a couple of workouts for you. We've got our skill session here. It kind of functions like a functional bodybuilding day, but you're going to do about half the work, and you're going to focus on those Turkish get-ups. We practiced them this past week. You get to practice them more in this sequence here. 90 seconds at these 8 different movements, but really you repeat a couple of the movements in here. So you start with Turkish get-ups. We go to a Spider-Man crawl. It's going to be a hip opener, back to some Turkish get-ups, then into a table rock. Is going to open up the shoulders and hips there, back to Turkish get-ups, do some handstand practice or bear crawls, back to Turkish get-ups for the last time, and then ending with those table rocks. So about 12 minutes of skill work there. And then you're going to go into what looks like a great workout. It's from the Granite Games. It's alternating movements between wall balls and toes to bar. You do twice as many wall balls as you do toes to bar through this, starting with 20 wall balls and then 10 toes to bar, working your way down to 2 and 1. So you end up with 110 wall balls and 55 toes to bar. Looks like a great workout. It's going to be about 9 to 12 minutes, 12-minute time cap on this to make sure you are picking the right option. But here's the deal. If you're coming Saturday to do Murph, you probably don't want to do this workout. If you're not coming to do Murph, this is a fantastic workout to get in instead. We'll have a cool down there, 2 minutes of rowing. Think of that as kind of a cool down, wall squats to help with mobility there. And we'll do kipping toes to bar as a skill session that day. Our confidence workout in CVC, another full body movement day there. We've got some cardio. We've got upper body with the parasite and hip openers. So a common theme there between CrossFit and CVC that day. Dumbbell farmer's carry step up. It's going to work on that good posture, and then over the shoulder slam ball clean is working on those explosive hips as well. And then Saturday, both the 8 o'clock class and the 9 o'clock class will be Murph. What I've got listed here does not necessarily correspond to any level. It's just, this is how I presented all different types of options, and there's other options that you could pick instead of this. The full version of Murph would be the full mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and another mile run. And you get to partition those reps in between the runs as you need to. The runs are done as a full mile run before you start doing those push-ups, pull-ups, and squats, and then afterwards as well. In between there, when you do the pull-ups, push-ups, and squats, you can break those up. Most people end up doing, if they're doing a full Murph, 20 rounds of 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 15 squats. You can also do 10 rounds of 10 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, and 30 squats. Just gives you an idea of how to break that up. There are actually more imaginative ways to do that as well. You can kind of do some research online if you want to see what those are. But Murph is not really appropriate for most people. And if you've never done Murph before, you probably don't want to just jump up there and try it. You don't even know if you've never done 100 pull-ups in a workout or 200 push-ups in a workout. You maybe don't want to try it that day. You want to find something that you can complete in under 45 minutes. Half Murph, which I have listed there in the blue, is a great option there. And then if you're not quite sure you've got 50 pull-ups or pull-ups at all, you can always scale those to jumping pull-ups. Your push-ups can be modified to knees or to a box. Most everybody can do squats, and your legs can handle the volume of squats, 150 squats almost at every level there. And the runs, you just got to pace yourself to finish. If you want to make it more interesting, find a partner to do it with you. You guys could match reps, or you could alternate reps and decide how many you're going to do total. If you want to do half Murph between the both of you, you could alternate rounds as you partition those reps. You could just run together then in the end. So there's lots of different options there. Have some fun with this. Find something that's going to challenge you for about 40 to 45 minutes. And then for Vitality that day in CVC, you're going to do a lot of work that day too. Not quite as much as Murph, but it's still going to be a good day to learn how to pace yourself. That's what we want from Vitalities. The box overs are going to be the most cardio intensive movement that day. The other movements, strict press, hockey lunge, kneeling rotation, don't ever get too fast. So it's a good way to learn how to pace yourself to work the entire minute, all 5 rounds on this one. All right. See you guys next week. Thanks.